What is up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And tonight we need to look at some charts, BTC, DJI, and DXY, and also discuss some upcoming FUD. Really, it's not FUD. It is news of an event that will happen at the end of the month. And hopefully by the end of the video, we'll be able to get an idea of what could be in the future for the rest of the summer for the action of Bitcoin. While everyone on YouTube seems to be flip-flopping their positions on a daily basis. All right, now let me begin by saying that none of this is financial advice at all. I am just here sharing my thoughts and looking at the charts to see if we can pick up clues, and I am not like our big YouTubers that jump online to tell you what they think they know BTC is going to do. And it was split down the middle, and now the majority of people are saying that we're just going to blast off to the moon right now. I don't know what's changed, because for weeks everyone was saying up until just this weekend that we were in an absolute bear market. And coming into the weekend, everyone was saying, brace yourself, sell it all, we're going down to the toilet, that's it. 24 hours later, the same big mouths on YouTube were talking about Bitcoin blasting off as if this is the beginning of the bull market, that the bear season is done. So let's wash all the nonsense out of the way and see if we can find some facts in the charts, some confluent movements on other charts, and then talk about this big bit of news that's coming up by the end of the month. Now, let's start with DJI. First of all, we're going to jump off of the Bitcoin chart. We're going to look at the Dow Jones, and this is the 4-hour chart. And notice here that I have this descending blue line. We'll see what this means when I jump to the 1 hour. But right now, we are peaked out on the 4-hour stochastic with the DJI right here. And it looks like it's about to cross over and head south. We're also at an absolute critical, it's just opening up. Look at this peak here on the MACD. This will probably continue up just a tad more, or maybe it'll flip over because we have one red candle forming right now upstairs on the price chart. Now, let's move this to the 1-day chart and see what the Dow Jones is looking like from this standpoint. Here we can see a little bit more of this blue line that I drew in that connects the dots between what it looks like to me as declining highs. In other words, we have a series of lower highs forming. Here's our high point. We have a lower high. And if we get a rejection here, this could be a lower high, but currently it's on a green candle. And then now we have one of those funky zones where the stochastic wants to stay upstairs in the overbought zone and just bounce around for an extended period of time. How long will that last? Well, this move looks longer than any of the previous ones that we see here. Let's just go back and look at them. Got a double hump there, a double hump here. Let's move me out of the way. And let's see here. Let's move this chart this way. See, there's several more. Look at that double hump. Several double humps. So now if we come back to the current time here, we see that we could be nearing the end period of this bouncing around above in the overbought zone, because this looks like the strongest move to me on the MACD right here than what we've seen practically all year. I don't see any other move that is this strong coming off of a bottom. So chances are we could reverse at this point and head south. Let's make that red as a matter of fact. So that's what we're looking at on the DJI. So Dow Jones could be headed south. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. I think all of the fervor and the buzz over the 0% gain in the inflation and the CPI, I think all that is over. The effects of that could be done. All right, so that is the DJI. Now let's look at the DXY on the 4-hour. This is interesting. So it looks like we're kind of on a slight decline here on the 4-hour chart as we appear to be moving towards the 50 and 200 EMA lines right there. Now, as we see the fast line on the stochastic, which is the blue, it's curling under. It looks like it's trying to pull off a reverse. but we won't know until we get a couple more candle closes. But right now, it could be reversing. It could be because we see that we're consolidating right here. We're stuck in this little zone. So if that happens and we come up out of this box back up to overbought zone, it could get very interesting. Now, we do have an impending cross happening here. If that blue line crosses over the slow line on the MACD, then that would tell me that we're probably going to start to cycle down. But how long? I don't know. And then what will be the corresponding price at the low point? This dip took us down to the 105 level. Will the next dip keep us above this 50 and 200-day EMA line? We'll see. Now, let's move this to the one-day chart. This looks even more interesting. This is very bullish for the DXY. So we had this slight period of decline after the news came out on the CPI, and it ran us down to just below the 50 EMA, but we are still well above the 200 EMA, and the overall trend is still looking very strong. Look at this rip that we have been on with the DXY. Now, the stochastic is clearly moving up. Look at this. That's a strong move with a very steep angle of incline as we're headed towards the overbought zone. And look downstairs at the MACD. Look at the oscillators. We're about to cross over right there. If that crossover happens and we see that we've already come off of this big peak and we see that we are coming out of this zone of printing red bars on the histogram, I'm going to tell you what, folks, if we jump out of this and this tears back on up and we bounce off of this 50 EMA, things are not going to be looking so good for Bitcoin, while everyone is saying that we're ready to rip and tear and jump back up and start climbing up with the next bull run. Let's flip this to the weekly and just see what it looks like here. Good gravy Mojave. This is an even more scary indication that we have a lot more space to go with the DXY in the positive. The only negative we have is it looks like we have an impending crossover with the MACD oscillators right here. However, look at the stochastic. It looks like we're about to cross over there. And we have a green candle forming right here as we are well above the 200 EMA and the 50 EMA. And would you look at this? That, my friends, is what you call a bull cross. Okay, now let's clear this out and move this up a little bit so we can check out what happened after the death cross. All right, turn drawing mode back on. We see that not too long ago, it was what? Last summer, as a matter of fact. Here's 2021. We had this death cross. And then soon after the death cross, you usually hit a bottom. And it looks like it bottomed, and we had the 2 points that it touched down. There was your bottom after the death cross. Then it repeated it here. Since then, we've been on a romp. Look at the action after we blasted off out of this bounce off of the double bottom, and it's just been straight upstairs ever since. Now we have this little consolidation move right here. Let's make a box around that, as a matter of fact. This is a consolidation move. And it doesn't look like it's wanting to come down, because if this crossover plays out, we're going to come back up here into overbought, and this is going to rip right out of that box. That is bearish for Bitcoin. Now, I'm not saying that it means Bitcoin is going to go down. I'm just saying that I don't understand what all the bullish predictions are going on with Bitcoin, where people really think that Bitcoin is about to blast off to the moon. So, well, let's just look at it. Here we are on the 4-hour chart with Bitcoin, and we are consolidating just above the purple dash line. Okay, we've talked about the purple dash line for quite some time. We have the action happening right here. It looks like a consolidation move, which could mean that if we hold above the purple dash line, we could come out of here and break for higher ground. If we don't, if we fail the purple dash line, I think we're going downstairs and we're going to be looking for this volume node that just magically happens to coincide with the 200-day exponential moving average line. Or the 200 period, I'm sorry. It's the 200 4-hour candle exponential moving average line. And then here's the 50 EMA right there that we are sitting on at the moment. Now let's scrunch up this MACD and see what it looks like here. Now, on the positive note, the stochastic has bottomed out. It started to come up, but it faked us out. Now we crossed over again, which tells us that for right now, it's looking to move up. But will it? First of all, we thought it was going to move up here, and it reversed, and it went south. The next move after the fake out was south. So now we're crossing over bullish, but is it going to go up again? Or are we going to get faked out and come back downstairs and go deeper into the oversold territory? Now, what are we doing on the MACD? Well, looks to me like we have a bunch of peaks that are in decline. Here's our first peak, and then the next one is lower, and the next series is lower yet. But it looks like we're crawling up out of the negative on the histogram here, but we still have the red or the orange slow line is up above the fast line, the blue line. So that would indicate bearish movement. But this one is slower than the stochastic, so we don't know just yet. It's still a 50-50 of whether or not we break out of this box and go south, or we hold support at the purple dash line and blow out for a positive move. Okay, now let's zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. And on the 1 day, we can see the parallel trading channel at the bottom of the bull flag, or bear flag, I'm sorry. There's still a humongous bear flag here, and I think people are not looking at it as a bear flag, but it still could be interpreted in that manner. As we failed the black dash line, here is the pole, and then we have a flag. If we contain all of the action between now and then, it's a big, long, extended bear flag. All right? Now, we touched on the top of this parallel trading channel line and got rejected. But everyone seems to think we're going to come back up and possibly break through that. Now, you can see the volume nodes on this chart right now that it's either come back up here to the $28,000, $29,000 level and hit this volume node and go above the black dash line up here where the 200 EMA is, or we get stuck back down here at this volume node somewhere around, 23, 22,000, or fall down here to the point of control price at about 21,000. And if that happens, we break the bottom of this support. If we break the bottom of that support, then that means this bear flag is going to drop us way down. Will it happen? I don't know. And I still think it's 50-50. And I would say be cautious and don't listen to these people that think that we're just absolutely going to jump out of this and start to just destroy the bears and go on a bullish romp. Now, what do we see on the MACD? Well, I have a descending line here, and it looks like to me that we're messing around. We've been up here in the positive on the histogram, but now we're flattening out with the oscillators, and it looks like we could be ready to do one of these numbers. And if we do, it would coincide with the direction that the stochastic is pointing. Now, we did get several fake outs and reverses. We went up, we came back down. We went up, we came back down. We went up, we came back down. And we get all of this jiggity-jaggedy movement that coincides with this channel here through this parallel trading channel. And we're not breaking out. Each time we had a reversal here, we're just bouncing up and down, consolidating. And what happens is, what you see that happens, you have your main move. Here's the major move here. And after that major move is done, then all of a sudden, you have the recoil. It's like the shotgun blast is here, and then as it echoes, we're bouncing around with these bot trades. And this is just the recoil that is left over from the major move. Now, is that a consolidation for a breakout to the positive or going downstairs? It's 50-50, slightly to the bearish, in my opinion, with this stochastic. However, we don't know. We saw it fake out twice here. It was going downstairs, it faked out, went back up. It was going downstairs, it faked out, it went back up. It could happen here again because you see that blue line is slightly curling over just a little bit where it's not pointing straight down. Now, let's look at the 1 week chart, and then we'll talk about the bit of news that's going to hit us at the end of the month. And that'll be the end of the video. So here's the 1 week chart. Let's zoom it in a little bit. And this one kind of tells a little bit more of the story. Let's get as much action we can that is significant here. And we can see on this chart that, yes, we're still in an overall bear market. Why are people saying that this is the bull market? I don't know. I'll tell you what, let's look at the evidence. Here was the market cycle top, all right? Here's the stochastic at the top. We sailed on down and we had a rally. We had a bear market rally and we had a stochastic peak right there. We came all the way back downstairs and had the big capitulation move when we had a stochastic bottom. Now we're coming up on another peak. What do you notice here? Look at these peaks. High, lower high, lower high. Is this going to make a lower high? Will we come in here and curl around? Oops. Will we curl around? Let's get the drawing tool and do this. Or are we going to do what everybody is yammering on YouTube about and have a full cycle up? I don't know. And that's what makes me wonder, why are we being so bullish at this point? It just seems like it's premature. The caution flag is out for me. Look at this. Look at these peaks here on the MACD. Let's just check it out. Here's our peak number 1. And then we had our bull market peak here. And the MACD oscillators had a lower high. And then we come down to this bear market rally peak, lower high. And now we've got this action that is still in an overall downward trend. And then we'll have to wait and see what happens. We don't have much green on this histogram here. Notice that each time that we go into the histogram, this is a nice chunk here, less of a chunk there, much less of a chunk here. And this one could be even smaller yet. But who knows? Maybe it'll grow. But right now, the evidence on the chart says huge, smaller, smaller, smaller. I mean, that's just what's in front of us right now. And then when you look upstairs, what do we see on the overall chart from the all-time high? We see bearish overall movement. From the top to where we're at right now, we have not broken out. So if we make a line connecting these peaks here, let's do this again. Let's clear this out. Let's just start from the top and draw a line in like this. We are getting close to where we could test this trend line. Are we going to touch all the way up? Are we going to get out of this flag? I don't know. Even if we do, we would still have to break this trend line to say that, okay, now blue skies ahead, bear market's over. If we break that out, then yeah, maybe the bear market is over. But right now, there's no indication. So it's a wait and see. Now, at the end of this month, the Mt. Gox Bitcoin tokens, and I think there was, let me look on my notepad. There was a lot of them. Some people are given differing amounts. Let's see, there it is right there. So the Mt. Gox, we have 140,000 Bitcoin that will be released from the creditors at the end of August, and that is $3.2 billion worth. That comes from the 2013 hack when Bitcoin was selling at what, 300 a coin, somewhere around there. Now, some news reports say that it's 137,000 and $3 billion worth, and some say 140,000 and $3.2 billion worth. But whatever the case, what are the people going to do when they get their settlement Bitcoins? Are they going to hold them or dump them out on the market? Because you got to imagine, if somebody was holding Bitcoin that lost it back on that Mt. Gox hack, and it was at 300 a token, and we're sitting at 24,000 right now, do you think there might be some people that say it was 300 bucks when I lost it, it's 24,000, I want some money? Yeah, probably so. Now the question will be, will all of that liquidity be sucked up by the institutional buyers like BlackRock, who wants to offer spot Bitcoin to their institutional investors? Maybe so, maybe not. Or do you think BlackRock might wait until that's dumped on the market for a capitulation move so that they can buy at a super low amount and make an extreme profit as they start selling that Bitcoin as it crawls back up from the bottom? I don't know. Time will tell. I'll just say again, it's 50-50 at this point, and the possibility of breaking out of this bear flag is still there and coming down to this volume node that would take us into the $10,000 to $12,000 area. It can happen. And let's look at the nodes. We got a node at 15,000, a node at 13,000. We got a node at 12,000, and then down here at 10,000. And then we could also pop one out of this and blast off to the moon and maybe get above the black line. And if we do, then it's going to go up to this node next, and then boom, test the all-time high again. So that's what we have in front of us. Where it stops, nobody knows, but that's enough information where we can at least start to roll the dice. But we all need to understand one thing: we're gambling. Now, when Bitcoin reaches 300,000 in the future, will it make a difference if you bought at 12,000 or if you bought at 24,000? No, it won't. I've got a little Bitcoin, $100 worth. I buy mainly altcoins, and I'm into Cadena. Cadena is my play for the future. We'll be talking more about that later on. That is not an endorsement, by the way. So that's all I've got for now. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you would like to support the Crypto Pro channel with a super thanks, please feel free to do so to help me divert the costs of producing these videos. Thanks for watching. This is Carlton, and I am out.